Hello and welcome to the Peak Experience, the podcast from Peak Support, where we talk about the customer experience, the experience of the customer support agents, and anything and everything in between. Today, my guest is Val Amato, the Associate Director of Customer Experience at Embark. Embark has been a Peak Support client since 2020, and recently we optimized their chatbot, achieving some pretty impressive results, including a 75% drop in chat volume. So we're going to talk all about that, as well as other things around Embark's approach to customer support. So Val, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So tell us a little bit about yourself and about Embark.
Yeah, sure. So I am the Associate Director of Customer Support. I lead up the entire customer support operation at Embark from we have a group of agents who are specialized in talking to our customers about their results, and then we work with Peak Team on other customer inquiries pertaining to order about their product. So sorry, I kind of lost. My dog was barking. Can I start again?
Why don't we start over and maybe tell us about Embark first?
Okay.
And then people will sort of understand. So why don't I can ask the question again?
Yeah, right. She's been a little feisty, so I just heard her go off. All right, I can start.
Got it. So yeah. So tell us a little bit about Embark and about you and your team.
Yeah, absolutely. So Embark is a global leader in dog health and genetics. We help people, who care about their dogs, be it, pet owners, breeders, veterinarians, learn more about their dogs and give them the best care and make better decisions about their healthcare and like their general well-being. And so we have several DNA products on the market now, where people can learn about their dog's breed ancestry, their inherited health risks and traits, and then also learn about their dog's estimated age. And so my role at Embark is I lead the customer support function, where we work with our customers who reach out to us with questions, needing help, be it helping to choose the right product for them or learning more about their results and understanding how to make good decisions about their dog's care.
Great, excellent. And talk about the Peak Support team, how many agents you have and who they work with internally.
Yep. So the Peak Support team, we have about 20 agents now. And then we have a team of SMEs, team leads, our QA operations, all of the, other kind of back office, I guess you'd say, folks who are, helping the train move forward. And the Peak team works with customers over chat, email, and our web form, answering a lot of the product questions, which kit is right for me. If people want to know what certain things we test for, and then, just making sure if there's a sale or something happening, making sure they're getting the best deal out there.
And it's interesting because it really is, in most ways, an e-commerce product. It's just a very different product from most other e-commerce companies. So it's sort of an e-commerce, it's an e-commerce product, but with a little bit of a twist. There's a little bit more of a complicated element to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's genetic health, it's understanding, it's science. And also it's a little expensive. It's outside of people's budget. So people see it as sort of a luxury, a splurge item, something, or something to get someone as a gift to, if, for a holiday. So our holiday period is a really busy time because people tend to buy it as gifts. And so, getting more into the science piece of it, I didn't really learn too much about genetics when I was going through school. I don't have a science degree myself. So, keeping that in mind too, when we talk to our customers, is although it is a science product and there is a lot of research that's been put into the results and the information that we are sharing about their dogs, how do we, present that information in a way that's easy to understand and actionable too? Because if it's too if it's too scientific, it's a little, you lose people. But you don't want it to be that way. You want it to be approachable information, and you want it to be something, as a dog owner, what can I do with this to take care of my dog?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And do you look for agents who have any kind of scientific background or aptitude, or is this kind of something anyone can learn?
I think, anyone can learn it. We have folks on our specialized results team that do have science backgrounds, or they've worked in veterinary fields, so they have that knowledge and that understanding. But not everyone comes in with understanding canine genetics, or
Right.
the ins and outs of genetics at all. And so we have invested a lot of time and effort into developing training materials internally, and then kind of also taking that and saying, well, how can we use some of that information also to train our customers, or teach our
Yeah.
customers more about how genetics works. In particular, it's interesting, our breeders, because they want to make informed breeding decisions. So it's not just learning about one dog, it's actually learning about, okay, if I take two dogs, what happens when I pair those two dogs together? So it can
Mhm.
get really complicated. So we've spent a lot of time, and continue to. It's never done. We can always learn more on how to best share that information, and teach people.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Peak Support runs your customer support team, but then you also worked with our tech and AI solutions team to optimize your chatbot. So talk about what were the goals for that initiative?
So excuse me. Yeah. So we launched initially, we launched chat as a new support channel in November 2022, just in preparation for a holiday season, to just because volume always picks up so much. And so we wanted to launch chat as a way to just address that volume in a more scalable, efficient manner. At the same time, we also said, well, let's also turn off the phones and see what happens when we do both things. And honestly, like, chat was just so successful, and it didn't do any harm to CSAT. In fact, CSAT on chat is our best CSAT number across all of our channels. So we kept chat. We actually kept the phones off since then. But we knew we could do more with it, and that there was, we just kind of spun it up quickly to say, hey, like, let's just prove that it works, right? So after we got through the holidays and things started to settle down, we're like, well, now what else is out there for chat? What else can we do? And so we worked with the team on identifying how we can best optimize chat, how we can make chat do a little bit more work for us, to, like, not necessarily have everything have to be handled by an agent. And so where we started actually was with our help center, because for the bot to work, we had to have articles that the bot could use to encourage customers to self-serve and answer their own questions. And so the team did a full audit, identified so many places that we could streamline articles. There were articles that had just gotten very lengthy because they just answered, we just kept adding on to them, and they answered so many questions. And so
Mhm.
we
Yeah,
found ways.
I know one of the things our team talks about is changing multi-topic articles to single topic,
Yeah,
because that's easier for a chatbot to ingest and understand.
yeah, exactly. And also, just as I reflect on it too, like, as a person just reading, like, I don't if I don't see the answer pretty quickly, I'm like, oh, it's not there, right? And I just keep moving. And you know
Mhm.
I'm sure our customers are the same way. They don't, if it's a long page of words, it's just like,
Right.
I'm not gonna read all that.
Right, right, right. You know
And
pretty
so,
quick. You know pretty quick if it's gonna answer your question.
yeah, and so we focused on making the articles easy to, very quickly, to say, like, hey, does this have the answers I'm looking for? Yes, good. And rewording titles to be more questions versus just statements. So a lot of work got done first there. And then we shifted over to, how do we optimize the chat bot itself to be more effective.
Yeah, and we actually have some images which we can share on the screen for anyone
Yeah,
who's watching this on video, to show what changed around the menu.
yeah,
So can you talk about some of those changes?
yeah. So a couple of the key changes that happened was, instead of making um, talk to an agent one of the top selections you can make, we kind of buried it a little bit. So we didn't fully take it away, but we encouraged people to just go through the menu. And also, we updated the menu so that it aligned more with what our customers were actually asking. So we use our top inquiry types to map to those selections instead.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what else? What else did you do? And I think it's so interesting because it really shows, especially with all the work you did on the help desk, how much work has to be done before. You
Yeah,
can't just turn on the chatbot and have it go. You
yeah.
really have to do a lot to optimize your platform before you bring that in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Zendesk makes it so easy, but yeah, you need some time to really think about it and plan. And I will say the other thing that was so helpful in having Peaks help and helping that having them, you know, just like champion this project with us was, you know, it was essentially getting like a fresh set of eyes too, because sometimes, as like just being in the depths of Embark land and just like kind of seeing the same inquiries, the same questions every day, like, the customer, but it's always good to have that fresh set of eyes. And
Mhm.
I just remember, when we went through the presentation, kind of just going through like post audit, all the findings, just even the menu, like the revised menu, like this is just such a like amazing, like
Right.
it was just so refreshing to see and just, like, yeah, it all makes sense. And I mean, once it rolled out too, we saw how it performed, and that it performed super well, and people, continued to engage with it. We didn't, again, like CSAT didn't, there was no harm done to CSAT, and reply to everything improved. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
it all.
Talk more about that. Talk about what is your CSAT rate? What happened to volume? What were some of those results?
Yeah, so the chat volume went down because what happened was the bot was able to serve the right articles, and so customers were able to self-serve. So we saw a pretty decent drop in chats having to be transferred over to an agent for help. And the remaining percent, what happened there was the response time improved. I think it's like under 10 seconds out. It's like somewhere between like 8 and
Yeah.
10 seconds. It was like around 16, 20 seconds, something like that. And it dropped, which is nice. But um, what we also do is when it gets transferred to an agent, there's more information getting collected up front. So not only is the agent responding immediately, I mean, you can't ask for much faster than, 8 seconds. Not only are they responding immediately, but they already have the information they need so that they can immediately
Yeah.
go to resolve.
Yeah. And then a really cool thing you did was used the extra hours that were now available to launch proactive chat. So talk about how that
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, we wanted to give proactive chat, we wanted to see, how our customers reacted to that. And if we could address some of those like pre-purchase questions that we knew were always coming in. And then also exploring how proactive chat could help generate revenue, and help drive some more sales, because especially with those pre-purchase questions, I mean, how many people are going in to start a chat and ask the questions versus the people who are just kind of poking around the website. Maybe they
Yeah.
just don't answer the question themselves, and they're like, I'll figure it out later. And who knows when
Mhm.
later happens, right? So if
Right.
we can meet them there with proactive chat, you know, how many of those customers can we actually turn and turn that into a sale?
Yeah.
And so that's also been very successful. It was really great. We launched it in time for our holidays. So we used it really to push the promotions that were going on at the time too, and just making sure people knew about that promo code and, what kind of a discount they could get.
Yeah. So what advice do you have for folks who are trying to jump into more automation, chatbots, whether it's an AI chatbot or not? What advice do you have to folks who are looking to jump into this?
I think like just starting small, right? Like we have, there's so much potential with proactive chat. And I sometimes get kind of carried away thinking, well, we can do this and we could do that. And maybe we could start selling other like, well, we could do all these other things, but like, just like know what your customer's asking you and like work from there. Like just see like, can I just
Yeah.
make the chatbot like address these common questions? Like, can I line it up? Like do simple things
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
start.
absolutely. Yeah, even if you start answering the top 3 ticket drivers and offer folks the option to transfer to an agent after that. It's just dipping your toe in the water, experimenting, seeing what
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. And having that, I know like if you feel busy, like there's so much going on, but just giving yourself some of that, like, we're going to try it, and like giving yourself some of that flexibility on, like, it's not, I haven't, we haven't built the Coliseum. It's not like fully chiseled out in stone. We can still
Right.
build, we can still change. And if something's not working, we can always take it away. It's for the chat test. I mean, I felt pretty confident that I was going to be fine, but we always had that, you know, um, we always had that feeling of if for some reason our customers hate it, like, we'll take it
Right.
away.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that just eliminating phone entirely has had no impact for you, or if anything has made CSAT higher. Because a lot of our e-commerce clients, even if they don't have heavy phone volume, they do try to keep the phones on just for that 4 or 5% of customers who need it. But it's interesting that you eliminated it, no issue at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we get occasionally the grump.
Right.
Someone's a little grumpy about it, but but in the end, like, their question gets answered. They get,
Yeah.
it gets resolved, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, for the most part, like, I think it's held out around like 97% on chat, which, you
The
know,
CSAT.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, this is
Which is
on chat has been
incredible.
around
Yeah.
97%, which, I'll take it.
Right, right, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So would love to hear from you overall. Just what is it like working with peak support? What can people expect from an engagement with peak support? Just generally, not necessarily just on the tech and AI solution side.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I can think of just a few, words, just a partnership, collaboration, and just so much insight. I mean, you have people who are very, dedicated to learning about your organization, um, identifying what your needs are, and just working with you on a solution. And then just the amount of information we get, just from like the weekly business reviews, or if there are things, with like with proactive chat, just, hey, like, I wonder which pages are the most engaged, the people are more engaged with. So, if people are going to this specific page and engaging more with this proactive chat, like, what can we learn from them? So there's always this ear for, like, learning, and how do we continue to evolve to,
Yeah.
which has been great. And I will say too, like, the team is just wonderful. Like, they're great as people. It's a delight to always see them weekly, and just like see what everyone's up to. And I haven't gotten too far into this, but I mean, Embark, we're all dog people, so we love, we share pictures sometimes. It's having that
Yeah.
connection's like really great.
Yeah.
um I would just say, like, whatever, no matter like the ups or the downs, that's going on, like, you have a good, like, kind of partnership and peak, and they're there for you to, kind of help shepherd you through whatever you need help with.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know Maria Ibrahimi is your customer services director. She's been with you guys, I think, since the beginning. Talk about that
Yeah.
client services role, and what role does client services play and what value does it provide?
Yeah, I mean, so I see Maria as kind of like the home base for all things Embark and Peak. So, and yeah, we've been working together since the very beginning. So she's very familiar with, the Embark world, and what our team's needs, our team's evolution too. And um, what if when it comes to like budgeting, or like, how do we allocate people to chat versus the form, the email form, and stuff, like, she has an eye for kind of the most optimized way to utilize the team, right? And then she saw the opportunity, and like, hey, can we do some stuff with proactive chat, and kind of got that going too. She just has an ear for what we need.
Yeah, yeah. And we have our shared services as well, which includes quality assurance, training,
Yeah.
business analytics. Talk about working with those teams and what that experience has been like.
Yeah. I will say that those teams, plus, like Peak as a whole, I see you all as the pros. And so, you know, I lean on them for their insights and their guidance. For example, with the QA team, and developing like the rubric and the scoring system. that is a regular part of our business review too. So we go through, how people scored and if there were areas of opportunity, and, that's become like a great part for us to like, not only, identify areas of improvement for individuals, like, hey, we should work on this and that, but also like, we use that as a way to see like, are there areas where we can improve, a process or messaging to our customers, or, a macro that should change too. So, just the amount of information we get from QA you know, has been super helpful. With training, to like, we worked very closely, especially in the beginning as we were rolling out and getting familiar with our products and process. And, now it's more of just, I'll hand this off to you when we have something new or something changed, and we know you're in good hands. Like, we don't need to have, as regular checkpoints as we used to, because, we know it's in the right hands.
Taking care of it.
Yeah, it's going to cascade. And if there are questions or something missing, we'll, they'll follow up and tell us. So, and it's kind of cyclical, right? Because you see how the training takes the information and then how it performs in QA. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, that process is really important, and our QA and training teams are together, partly for that reason. So as QA starts to learn, hey, this is an area of improvement, they can feed that information back to the training team.
Yeah. I mean, last week we had a discussion around there was a macro that I think was having an impact on CSAT, right? We saw that there was a direct correlation between this macro being used and a CSAT, like bad CSAT coming in. And the team lead said, hey, this is what we've noticed. Can we make a recommendation and adjust this phrasing? And we're like, yes, like, well, let's do it. If that's what's directly affecting people's performance, like, let's fix it. Let's nip it right away. And so I'm looking forward to the next QA, next review, to see like, the effects there. Again, QA hasn't been bad either. I mean, CSAT's at 97. I think QA is around the same percent. So it's at 1 or 2%, I guess we could.
Right. There's still a little room for improvement.
Still, yeah. Instead of an A, you get an A plus or A plus.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Val, for being with us today. We really appreciate it. It's been great to talk to you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah.